America is drowning in debt. $37 trillion. That's right, with a T. And now, Donald Trump, never one to shy away from shaking the table, is floating an idea so radical, so disruptive, that it has Wall Street in panic and his supporters in awe. He wants to back the US dollar with cryptocurrency and gold. To some, this is a masterstroke of genius, a revolutionary fix that could restore trust in American money and secure the dollar's dominance for another century. To others, it's a reckless gamble, a dangerous shot in the dark that could unleash chaos across global markets and destroy what little stability America has left. But no matter where you stand, one thing is clear: Trump has dragged this conversation out of the shadows and into the spotlight. So tonight, let's go deep. Let's unpack why this idea has exploded onto the national stage, what it really means for America's future, and whether Trump is playing 4D chess or simply rolling the dice with the world's reserve currency. Here's the truth. This proposal isn't coming out of nowhere. It's not a gimmick. It's not just campaign bluster. America's debt has become a national vulnerability. For decades, politicians threw around the words fiscal responsibility like they were props in a bad stage play. But today, the show is over. The numbers don't lie. $37 trillion in national debt. A debt-to-GDP ratio higher than at almost any point in modern history, even during wars and recessions. And interest payments alone soaring past $1 trillion per year. Think about that. Washington is spending more on interest payments, just to keep the debt afloat, than on most major government programs combined. Every dollar burned on interest is a dollar not spent on infrastructure, healthcare, education, or national defense. Foreign investors are losing patience. They're watching America spiral deeper into red ink, and confidence in U.S. bonds is beginning to slip. That's a dangerous cycle because as confidence falls, borrowing costs rise, which pushes debt even higher. It's a trap. And right now, Washington has no easy way out. That's why radical ideas, once dismissed as fringe, suddenly look like lifelines. So why is Trump turning to crypto and gold? Because they symbolize two things Americans desperately crave right now: innovation and modernity. That's the crypto side. Stability and trust, that's the gold side. Crypto promises speed, programmability, and a futuristic edge. Gold promises scarcity, something tangible, something that can't just be printed out of thin air. And let's not forget, these ideas sell. A politician can stand on stage, hold up a gold bar or a shiny new digital token and say, "This is real money. This is how we save America." That's a soundbite that cuts straight through the noise. But slogans aren't systems, and this is where the story gets messy. Let's strip it down. What is Trump actually talking about? 1. Tokenizing U.S. treasuries. Imagine every treasury bond being issued and traded on blockchain. Faster settlement, greater transparency. Sounds efficient, right? But it also opens the door to cyber attacks, smart contract glitches, and regulatory chaos. 1. Launching a government-backed digital dollar, a crypto version of the US dollar, fully controlled by Washington. This could rival private stablecoins like Tether or USDC, but it risks blurring the line between monetary policy and fiscal policy, and if mishandled, it could look like America is just printing digital money to pay off debt. 1. Rebuilding US gold reserves, possibly even pegging the dollar or a portion of it to gold. This could, in theory, restore confidence, but it would also chain the Federal Reserve's hands. If another recession or panic hits, the Fed couldn't just pump liquidity into the system, it would be stuck with whatever gold backing exists. Put together, what we're really talking about is a hybrid crypto-gold standard, a dollar backed by digital tokens and hard assets. A currency that combines blockchain technology with the timeless weight of gold. It sounds powerful, it sounds bold, but is it even possible? Here's the reality. Design matters. Tokenizing treasuries may sound futuristic, but a single coding bug in a trillion-dollar market could be catastrophic. Cyber attacks aren't hypothetical, they're daily occurrences. Would America's financial backbone really be safe on-chain? A US digital dollar could improve efficiency, sure, but it could also become a surveillance tool, tracking every transaction, every payment, every move. Is that freedom? Or is that Big Brother disguised as innovation? And then there's gold. Yes, it brings credibility. But let's do the math. The US holds around 8,100 tons of gold. At current prices, that's worth roughly $500 billion. Sounds like a lot, until you realize America's debt is $37 trillion. The math doesn't add up. To fully back the dollar with gold, either gold prices would need to skyrocket. We're talking $50,000 per ounce or more, or the US would need to buy enormous amounts of gold on the open market, creating global shockwaves. And what happens when you merge gold with crypto? You create a system that is flashy, futuristic, and heavy with symbolism, but also vulnerable to panic. Picture this: if token holders suddenly rush to redeem for gold, it's a digital bank run. Fast, ruthless, unstoppable. The system could collapse overnight. Now let's step back. Why would Trump even take this risk? Because whether it succeeds or fails, it changes the conversation. For decades, both Democrats and Republicans kicked the debt can down the road. Nobody wanted to touch it. It was political suicide. Trump is reframing the debate. He's saying, America doesn't have to collapse under debt. We can innovate our way out. We can rebuild trust. We can go bold. And politically, that's powerful. To his supporters, he looks like a visionary, someone willing to tear down broken systems and rebuild them stronger. To his critics, he's reckless, dangerous, even desperate. But either way, he has forced everyone, from economists to investors to everyday voters, to ask, what if? So, is this the beginning of a financial revolution? Or the opening act of chaos? On the one hand, backing the dollar with crypto and gold could restore confidence, attract investment, and position the US as a global innovator rather than a debt-addicted empire in decline. On the other hand, the risks are enormous: technical failures, policy missteps, market panics, a lack of flexibility when crises hit. The truth is, crypto and gold aren't magic bullets, they're tools. And tools are only as strong as the hands that wield them. If the governance isn't airtight, if the rules aren't transparent, if the trust isn't absolute, then it all falls apart. Let's zoom out. What we're really witnessing here is the collapse of the old consensus. For decades, the US could run up debt endlessly, confident that the world would keep buying treasuries and trusting the dollar. But cracks are showing. Countries like China and Russia are building alternatives. BRICS nations are talking about new reserve currencies, investors are nervous, and Americans themselves are asking whether the system is sustainable. Trump's crypto gold idea may be radical. It may even be impractical, but it signals something bigger. The ideas once considered fringe are now mainstream, and that tells us everything about where America is right now. So what do you think? Is Trump's crypto gold dollar a masterstroke of genius, or pure madness that could plunge the world into crisis? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I really want to hear what you think about this. If you found this breakdown valuable, give the video a thumbs up. It helps push this conversation to more people. Share it with your friends. And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the financial and geopolitical storm shaping our world, because this is just the beginning. The future of money is being rewritten before our very eyes. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and I'll see you in the next one.